Alright guys, this is SFT3303 on YouTube, Captain Carnage PBN. Today I'm just going to walk you through some maintenance on a shocker. This is my personal 06 SFT. It's got some mods on it, but nothing that would affect any maintenance. Got NXTI milling Dynasty frame, Eclipse trigger pin, and built-in rail. Just a couple little neat things to it. Anyways, so let's get started. Today I'm going to walk you through HE bolt, maintenance, cleaning, also further marker disassembly into the grip frame, how to remove the board, how to clean the solenoid, and how to get it all back together at the end. So we'll start with the tools you need. You're going to need a Allen key for the back cap. For new designed users, it is a 7/32 inch. You're going to need a 1/16 Allen key for removing the solenoid and solenoid manifold. You will need a 1/8 inch for removing the grip frame, a small precision screwdriver for disassembling solenoid, O-ring pick, some sort of Dow 33 lubricant. I prefer Molly Coat, but Sleek, Smart Parts Lube, Lube, Gator Sauce, all that stuff works. You'll need a small precision, Phillips head screwdriver for removing grip panels, and you'll need a fluffy stick just for cleaning the bore and removing the bolt. So let's get started. First things first, we'll go through the bolt. Simply stick in the bolt, the Allen key to the bolt guide, and remove it. So we'll take that out. And then, as for Smart Parts recommendations, simply stick the bolt guide in the front of the gun, push, and the bolt will start to come out the back. Now, from here, you can set the bolt guide aside. There's not much further you can push with it. You'll take your fluffy stick, your barrel swab, whatever you want to call it, and you will push down at an angle so you're not pushing on the bolt face itself instead of firing can. Just push in from the front, and you will actually push the bolt assembly out of the back of the marker. Now, this is a free-floating bolt assembly, as in it's not screwed. It doesn't screw together. It's not linked like a DM bolt kit or PMR or any of those. So as you push it out, parts will fall off. So when the bolt sleeve slides out, make sure to catch that. So we've got our bolt can with our bolt sleeve, and our bolt guide. Set the marker aside, and you can begin to clean. So we'll start from bottom to top. Of course, we're going to take our bolt sleeve off, and then to get to the bolt, the HE bolt is actually trapped inside of here by an O-ring. So what you do is you'll take your can, simply pull the front off, set that aside, you'll see a small O-ring right here. And that is the actual HE O-ring, which will seal against this surface to restrict airflow while the bolt is in the open position. So what you'll do is you'll take your O-ring pick, stick it in there, get your HE ring out, simply remove the ring, and slide the bolt out the back of the can. That is completely disassembled. There's your bolt kit. Now you'll take your rag or paper towel or whatever, wipe off old lube, get the bolt nice and clean, nice and grease free. Just clean up the rest of the bolt kit. Just make sure everything is nice and clean inside. Now, the most important part of the bolt, most important parts, I should say, of the bolt are the dynamic O-rings. Now, what dynamic O-rings are any O-rings that come in contact with moving surfaces within the bolt. These would pretty much mean anything that touches the bolt is going to come under the most wear. So it needs to be lubricated and cleaned most. So surfaces like the bolt sail O-ring, the internal bolt guide O-rings, and the internal sleeve O-ring, and the 2 internal O-rings on the can, like this one and this one. So we'll look at those first. Now what I like to start from the back to the front, because you can stack the bolt as you build it up. So we'll start with the bolt guide. We'll get a little bit of lube, just put it on your finger, slide a little bit onto the front one, slide a little bit on the back one, and work it into the groove itself and around and on the O-ring. So it's nice and slippery. You can set that standing up like so. Then we'll move on to the sleeve. Get a little bit more lubricant. Get all the sleeve O-rings nice and hydrated. Keep them in good, keep them from dry rotting. Keep them nice and airtight. Drop that on top. We'll move on to the bolt. Now the bolt itself only has 1 O-ring on it, but like I mentioned before, it comes in contact with multiple other dynamic O-rings. Now all these O-rings, for the most part, are all internal, as in they come in contact around the bolt itself, such as these O-rings on the can and the O-ring inside the bolt. So what I like to do is, instead of trying to apply O-ring inside those tight little spaces, instead of trying to apply lubricant into those tight little spaces, put it on the bolt instead and let the bolt lubricate the O-ring for you. So what I'll start with is the bolt sail, and then I will get a good amount of lubricant, put some back here. This is where the internal O-ring on the sleeve will touch, some here, where the rear firing can, for this part of the firing can, will touch, and some here, where the front part of the firing can will touch. Now what I've done is a little bit sloppy, I'll admit, but you just need to make sure that everything is nice and loose. Okay, so we can drop that in there. Then we can drop this on top. And then we can get our HE O-ring, wipe it off, a little bit of new lube on there, pull our bolt forward, slip the HE O-ring onto the front of the bolt. Might be easier to start from the bottom. Slip it down onto its groove, slip the bolt down, slip the can top on, a little bit of new grease on the can O-rings, just to make sure everything seals up nice. And there is your bolt, and it's ready to go back into the marker. So we'll take our marker, slide it in, and what I like to do, since I don't want any cross-threading on the bolt guide, take the bolt, make sure it's seated all the way in with your finger, then reinsert your bolt guide and screw in. I like to do this because I don't want to put any strain on the starting threads of the body or of the bolt guide. This way the bolt guide doesn't have to actually push the whole bolt kit in as it's screwing in. And that is the HE maintenance for the shocker. And so go out, play. If you have any problems, just send me a message.